I cannot stand the discourse anymore, but that's what everybody wants to talk about. So, what about this Elden Ring pause button thing? I miss the days when gamers liked video games and liked other gamers. Remember, I don't know if this experience is unique to myself, but I've learned through memes that no experience is unique, so I'm pretty sure I'm talking to a bunch of you out there when I say this. When I was a kid, video gaming, is that a word? Video gaming? Playing video games, you know what I mean. Don't be pedantic now. I'm the English teacher here. Back when I was a kid, playing video games wasn't so mainstream. So if you were really excited about video games and you wanted to discuss them, you're, God forbid, wearing some kind of like video game shirt or whatever. Actually, there weren't that many back then. Or was there? Anyway, what I meant to say is that I come from a time when it wasn't so mainstream. You wouldn't find so many people to discuss games, to play games with. At least back in Brazil, I mean, I'm in Brazil now, so at least here in Brazil, when I was a kid, through the 90s, that's how I felt. I often tried not to talk too much about video games in, mixed company because I knew I was gonna be the weirdo who likes video games. So I come from a perspective where I love the fact that people are interested in my hobby, and I'm also very excited to share with people. So the gatekeeping around this entire issue just seems odd to me, and it makes me feel like I'm simply not a part of the gaming community anymore. If my opinion is the wrong one on this, that we should want more people to enjoy our hobby, if that is wrong, if wanting a simple feature in a video game so you can pause and like go take care of things, if that is so absurd, then I guess I'm not a gamer. I've been pushed out of the community because this is not something that I can relate to anymore. Anyway, let's get to the controversy. What happened is that Alana Pierce, who is a well-known personality in the games industry, and she happens to work with accessibility in UI as it pertains to video games. She works in this field. This is her field of study, and that's what she does for a living. So she made the terrible mistake of using appropriate language to describe a situation she's actually experienced enough to talk about with some authority. She was talking about Elden Ring, the lack of a pause button, and how this constitutes, according to the language used to describe these things, a situational disability. And what I mean by that is that she's trying to say that if you're playing a game like Elden Ring and something happens in your surroundings, let's say for instance, if you need to go see what the baby's doing, then you should be able to pause the game. The interface shouldn't be confusing. You should be able to just pause that activity and then go take care of things in the real world. Nothing super controversial, and it's an expert speaking about the thing that she works with, using the language, the common technical language used to describe this concept. So, of course, the internet lost their mind, and two camps quickly formed. People just implying that she's an idiot and a bad mother and what have you, because they interpreted her description of the fact that this interface is not so friendly with somebody who might face a situational disability. Again, don't get so upset at me. I didn't make up this word. It just exists, and that's the word used to describe this thing. I'm just saying. You can think of a more fun word to say there, but that's just the term that you're going to find in the documentation about this matter. So people are saying, you're a bad mother. Why would you be fumbling with your controller to pause it when your baby's choking or whatever? Because of course they imagine the worst possible scenario that would paint her at the worst possible light, because that's the discourse. Remember I said in the beginning, I hate the discourse. This is what I mean. Then there was the side saying that you're stupid, not because of you referring to the thing by its actual name, but rather because there is a way to pause Elden Ring, you dummy. You just have to do this. And then there was like way more steps than simply pressing a pause button like it's been forever. And I don't get this at all. I don't get it. Again, maybe because I come from a time when having people interested in video games was something that I was like, yo, another one, that's cool. One more person to talk about this. But I don't get the gatekeeping. I don't get insulting someone because they just simply would like a way to pause what they're doing. Implying that they are a terrible parent because of this. It seems like you're just out to vilify somebody for no reason. Because you feel like you're a elite gamer and anybody below that is an idiot. I'm not sure if this is just like a bad faith interpretation of their argument, but that's what it feels like, because it always comes bundled with "get good, you noob." I don't know. The chest thumping about like being good at responding to a stimuli on a screen and then pressing the appropriate buttons, it just kind of silly. And this is coming from somebody covered in video game tattoos. I don't know, the overall vibe just rubs me the wrong way. The fact that these people are so vicious. And their whole point of view on this is that they're superior because they see the images on a screen and then they respond with the appropriate buttons. Maybe this is just me, but the whole vibe is kind of like weird and mean, right? Like the viciousness over just getting to point that somebody is not as good as you are at looking at moving images on a screen, then responding by pressing the appropriate buttons. It's such a silly thing to be bragging about. Is this just me? It can't be just me. This is the problem. This is Twitter brain. You see crazy shit, but then it almost gaslights you into thinking that that's the normal and you're the weird one for not being on board. So yeah, you got the people saying, get good, you're stupid, why do you need to pause anyway? And then there's the people saying, actually, there is a way to pause, you're just dumb, it's just this simple, and then a bunch of steps to do something that can be achieved by literally pressing one button. Do these people look at the Master System, you know, with the pause button on the actual console, forcing you to get up from the couch to actually pause the game? Do they see this as like an extra challenge? Would they? Like, is this like cool? Should all games be like this? Should all games be this hard? Like, why does a game need to be that hard anyway? Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't play a hard game if that's your thing. I'm not questioning what you enjoy doing. What I'm saying is, isn't it logical to assume that for most people, video games are supposed to be an escape instead of a source of stress? And if you don't want to be able to pause Elden Ring, if they put in that feature, you could just not pause it, right? You could just not press the button. But I'm sure that people would be super mad if they added this because, and I can read the tweets already, again, Twitter brain, I can predict the outrage. They would say they are turning games woke, games are too hard now, back when real men could beat games, but now they have to be made easy for the special snowflakes and the safe spaces and whatever. Man, you know what? Yeah, video games should be a safe space. From this, the Discord, again, I lament the fact that social media is a thing. I have personally gained quite a lot from engaging with social media as a content creator. I've met wonderful people. I've been able to get so many opportunities because of this. But I wonder if in the end, this created way more problems than it solved. I'm pretty sure. I don't know what it is that makes some gamers so exclusionary. Again, maybe because I'm older. Maybe because when I was a kid, I got so excited to meet somebody else at school or at church or wherever who was into video games. Those were usually my go-to people. We usually became the closest friends. In fact, there you go. I'm living in my hometown right now for the first time in, I don't even know how long, since 1999, you do the math. And my closest childhood friends, the ones that I still hang out with today, are the video game kids, right? And most of them have kind of left that behind, but the bonds we shared over the mutual enjoyment of these works of art guarantee that I made friends for life. And I look at people seeing these same things, these same hobbies, and then they want to just start fights over it. It's disappointing. Again, can you blame me for thinking that social media did not mean a net gain for society? Such a boomer take, but I guess I am the right age now. So what do you say? Am I being stupid too? Am I stupid to say that, like, no, yes, Elden Ring should have pause? Is that a stupid take? Have I? Because this is what I think. If my take on this is like the weird position, then this just means I'm not a gamer, right? And I'm not talking about like using the word as a descriptive of my activity playing video games. I'm talking about like the term as it describes a collective, right? The gamer. Because if that's the new normal, if that's what's cool, to just like mock people who are experts over using an expression in its right context, because you're deriving from that you're a better gamer than them. So for that reason, they deserve mockery. And games should be hard, and it's a badge of honor to be good at video games. Again, coming from somebody who loves video games enough to like put them on his actual skin. That seems like a really stupid way to waste time on social media, and we do that enough already. Time that you're spending where you could be playing games. Remember those, right? What do you think? Am I the idiot here? Let me know in the comments down below. Anyway, that's all the time I have for today. I'm Izzy, and I'm done.